Good evening, this is Brother Bro here, and today we're reviewing Mad Bills to Pay. This film was written and directed by Joel Alfonso Vargas. I'm excited to talk about this film because it's from a very young filmmaker from the Bronx, and it feels like a micro-budget movie where this was probably like no more than $200,000 to make, and it could have even been less than that. If you love an achievement in naturalistic filmmaking and improvised dialogue, kind of the style that the Duplass brothers are known for from their debut film, The Puffy Chair, which also debuted at Sundance, I think you're going to find something to like here. Now, this film, unlike some of those other mumblecore style films that you could put this up against because of its budget, is filmed in a very different style. Instead of that kind of like camcorder zoom thing you had going on there, this is entirely in static shots. And in his words, the director took inspiration from photography to find these compositions. And each one is just fascinating in how the characters are blocked in a scene. And it feels like as the audience, we are voyeurs in this world. We're almost sitting there with the characters, but not participating. It's like looking into a window of reality itself, but also it has this artistic touch, again with the blocking. It's a style that I can't quite describe because I haven't seen it done exactly this way. And the main reason it feels very much like a documentary is because the dialogue itself, a lot of it is improvised, and it finds this authenticity with how these characters speak as the film takes place in the Bronx. The director himself said that you really can't find trained actors who can pull off these kinds of roles. And so the actors bring in this way of speaking and like yelling and fighting that they've learned in their actual lives. And I don't see how this story could have been told any other way. The film's about a 19-year-old man named Rico who gets a 16-year-old girl pregnant. And it's about him trying to fit that mold of being a father, when really he is just way too immature, not up to the task. And the film is kind of comical in this sense that, like, of course this guy cannot live up to this task. He's so under-resourced in that he doesn't have a stable job, but he also doesn't have the instincts and the ability to like deal with other humans in like a very empathetic way. But he also seems to be drawing what he thinks it means to be a father from traditionally masculine roles that he's seen in society, perhaps even to compensate for the fact that he did not have a father figure in his life of his own to look up to. And really what I took away from this film, without it ever explaining that this was a theme, was what masculinity means and how young men interpret that and understand it, which really comes across in Rico's stubbornness and the way that he doesn't really listen to the women in his lives who are often giving him very good ideas and good advice. And what I find exciting about this film is that it's so real that Rico feels very frustrating. Like, we want him to succeed, but he really doesn't have the tools within him to get to where he wants to be. So we're kind of watching him like fumble around for most of this movie, but it feels like we're really coming to understand who he is by watching him struggle. And by the end, I really wanted to know, like, what is going to happen to him? Like, is he going to succeed? What kind of a life or fulfillment will he find? I think what invites that curiosity is, again, the style of the cinematography, inviting us to just view these scenes in unbroken takes for minutes at a time, watching characters interact within a room, letting us form our own judgments about these people. I just couldn't help but be interested in the characters and their destinies and like where they were going. I think the best compliment I can give the film here is that I wanted to know more about these people, and they felt extremely real. Now, in a film that has such a small budget, what really makes it are the performances and the writing. In this case, the writing is structured, but the dialogue falls upon the actors to find that. So it really heavily depends on the quality of the performances. Juan Coyaldo delivers a great performance as Rico. I think his mother and his sister, played by Johanna Florentino and Natalie Navarro, are also great, and the baby mama was a real standout, played by Destiny Checo. I really can't stress how utterly believable this film felt, and it was invigorating in that sense. And I found that the more I dissected Rico and his relationship with his own masculinity and with what fatherhood means to him, the more insight I drew. One particularly memorable set piece in this film was a lingering exterior shot where a military recruitment station has been built. And it really makes you see, without commenting on it directly, how in a film about a young man who is lost, who is trying to search for meaning and purpose, how that recruitment center is so strategically placed in a place like this where there could be, you know, hundreds of Ricos wandering around. So that was just a touch from the filmmaker that I really wanted to highlight. So I'd give this film a strong recommendation, especially to people who love indie films and really low budget films. Just to see what you can do on a micro budget is fascinating in itself, but this is really a filmmaker to look out for. I give this film an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Do you have a lot of bills to pay?